I suggest you start saving your pennies because this is the 2026 Toyota RAV4 and it's not just another refresh. Toyota is reminding everyone who started this whole game. Let's roll!
Okay, let's roll back the clock. The RAV4 wasn't always the crossover powerhouse that it is today. It all started back in 1993 at the Tokyo Auto Show, where Toyota introduced for the first time, but it didn't come to North America till 1996. A tiny 2-door and 4-door SUV that looked more like a fun toy than a family SUV. Under the hood, back then, it had a 2-liter 4-cylinder and only made 120 horsepower. Next up, the second generation. From 2001 to 2005, things got more serious. 2 doors disappeared, it became all 4-door practicality with more interior space and a 2.4-liter engine. And then we got Generation 3 from 2006 till 2012. This was a big shift. The third generation brought in a 3.5-liter V6 in some markets, just under 270 brake horsepower. And then we have Generation 4 from 2013 till 2018. This was more refined, very SUV-like, but trading a bit more of that rough and ready for everyday usability. The V6 was gone again. They stuck with a 4-cylinder 2.5-liter. And then we have Generation 5 from 2019 till 2025. This thing got a little bit chunkier during this period. The 5th generation got bold styling, more interior space, and the hybrid versions got stronger. Which brings us to this one, the Generation 6, the all-new Toyota RAV4.
The Toyota RAV4 has won more awards than some hockey teams in Canada, and for 2026, it receives major updates inside, outside, and the powertrain. This beauty over here, it's going to surprise a lot of people. But another surprising fact that this thing is built here in Ontario, Canada. In fact, in Woodstock, Ontario, Canada, where we are today.
The RAV4 you're looking at is built right here in Canada at this Woodstock plant in Ontario. This factory opened back in 2008 and is dedicated entirely to the RAV4. It's one of the Toyota's most awarded plants worldwide, known for its quality and precision. And Toyota Canada was kind enough to give us a full tour so that we can see ourselves how the Toyota RAV4 is built here in Canada.
Today we're going to spend some time with the new RAV4. This is the first drive, so we're going to take it for a drive and talk about how this thing drives compared to the outgoing model. But before we do that, let's talk about the exterior. This thing, it's gotten a lot sexier in my opinion, starting with the front end. What you see in here is the limited package, which means not all of them are going to have the same front end. The trims change, the exterior changes a bit too. The limited comes with this honeycomb design at the front. We've got the LED daylight running lights and headlights, which is standard for this model. At the bottom, we have a new design for the lip. It comes with fog lights. In fact, the daylight running lights are split, so you got the bottom part and the top. But when you look at them when they're off, it looks like a full C piece. Very aggressive design. What's even more important is the fact that now the badge comes with a backlight. So at nighttime, people will see that this is the Toyota, as if it's going to be very hard to distinguish this. The vehicle now has a more wider stance, although the size remains very similar to the outgoing model, but it's got a really nice fender design, give it a beefier look. In fact, it's telling you that this is the best-selling SUV without actually telling you that. Wheels, we've got 17-inch wheels for the base model, 18-inch for the other trims, and then for the GR version, which we have for the first time in North America, but if you're from Japan, you know that that trim is available in other models. This thing is equipped with 20-inch wheels. The GR has separate wheel designs because it's a separate package, more aggressive, more sporty. We've got the side profile with the piano black side mirrors with the indicators on the sides. We've got hands-free for the door handles in the front and this massive side skirts, which gives it a more aggressive look. At the top, we have the rails in piano black as well. Now, moving on to the back, this is where things get a little bit interesting as well, just like the front. We've got this 3D type with the flush design tail light, which I think is pretty cool. It sort of larger onto the side and gets smaller into the middle, kind of like an infinity design. Next thing you notice is the RAV4 badge now is new for this year. And if you look carefully, the Toyota badge with this package, it is blacked out, but also smaller than before. But what's not smaller is the actual rear glass, which is now bigger than before. At the bottom part, we have the bumper, a more aggressive design, two-tone finish in this case. The exterior paint choice is a white pearl design, which I gotta say is really nice and a little bit sparkly, but not metallic. At the top, we have the fin shark, which is now painted in black, matching the side mirrors. Next thing you notice, it has the limited package badge on the right, and then on the left it says HEV, so that you know it's not the plug-in hybrid. But one thing that stands out is the fact that this unit has in this side proudly assembled in Canada. So in case if you didn't know that this was built in Canada, now you know. Cargo space, guess what? You get slightly more. They didn't tell us exactly how much more, but just by looking at it, it actually feels bigger than before. Because the way this thing is designed, the tailgate used to be a bit more hatchback style, more extended out. Now it's flat, which means you get more space. So how you design on the outside matters in terms of space on the inside. Next thing is that you get flat second row seats, so you can fold them completely to get the best cargo space. Also, it comes with the tie-dye option. It comes with the tie-down options on the side, so you can put a net or anything to protect things moving around. And you also get a JBL subwoofer. The options are between 6 speakers or 8 speakers, depending on the trim. It does have a net on the side with a side pocket that you can make use of it. Plus, it does come, and I know you guys are gonna love this, a spare tire. Yes, this RAV4 hybrid, it's with a spare tire, and unlike the Honda CR-V, which does have the battery in the back, this one comes with spare tire, plus the battery is also located very close to it. Now, let's talk about the second row. But before that, let's close this. Oh, into the second row of the new RAV4. First thing you notice, you get a bit more room now, a bit more leg room, headroom. There's a lot more space at this point. Feels nicer on the interior. Tech features, we've got heated seats in the back with this package, 15 watts, charging USB-C ports, 2 air vents in the center, a panoramic roof with a sunroof. There's a armrest in the center with 2 cup holders, and that's about it. I'm 6'2", 6'3". That gives you an idea how much space you get. I feel comfortable. You can't move these seats back and forth. They're fixed, but it's perfectly fine. In the center, it has this flat option, which is nice to have to make use of the space. You can put your lunchbox or anything like that, your lunch bag or anything that you can essentially store in there. There's some cup holders on this side, but overall you can see like 6'2", 6'3", that gives you an idea. The average person is shorter than I, so this is a good start. Now, let's jump into the front. Before we jump into the inside, a little detail. The door sill here says RAV4, but the letter 4 has a backlight. They only did the number 4. Seats, driver's side gets power seats with this package, also the passenger, but this one has lumbar support for the driver. And then you jump inside and you realize this is not the same RAV4. What you need to keep in mind is that each trim is a little bit different. For example, this one has the biggest screen, it's like 13-inch or so. Then you get the smaller screen with a different trim. You also got a shift knob with a different trim. With this one, because there's the shift by wire, you get this little thing here that has become normal that you can put into drive, into reverse. Easy to get used to it because a lot of vehicles are coming with this sort of design, but you notice the interior, it's completely redesigned for this year, including the cluster in here, which is now a standalone screen, and the massive screen in the center. Now let's get into the details. Let's start it up. I have a start button over here, you press that, and here you go. It is hybrid, therefore it doesn't turn on the engine initially, and that's the screen in the center. Starts with the Toyota badge and welcomes you into your new Toyota. Here we go. And there you go. Now, keep in mind, this vehicle is a pre-production unit, which means that some things are not really working there, which is normal. It's not available to the customers. It's only for pre-production, and it actually says right here, pre-production software. First thing, we've got this beautiful steering wheel, which, by the way, changes the shape based on the trim. So this is for the limited package. You've got this leather finish around it, beautiful design at the bottom, this beautiful airbag, which is now different, kind of like matching the front end of the vehicle. It's right in here, so you have it on the steering wheel. We have buttons, which I absolutely love. Let's move on to the screen here in the center. This is a touch screen, massive in this case. There's a 360 camera with this package. In fact, even when you're driving, you can turn on the camera and there you go. It shows you a 360 view of the vehicle. And if you look carefully, also sort of like the bottom parts a little bit of the vehicle. And what you see in here is that it's a see-through, so that you can also see on the other side while looking onto the left. Pretty cool. And you got the auto view, which decides based on the position of the vehicle. Going back into the main menu, you've got your audio system, in this case, JBL equipped. And here you've got your standard driver performance, in this case, eco. This one, the eco feature, is destination prediction. This is sort of to save fuel. They will predict where, based on the map, where you're going, so that the vehicle can save fuel, can do better fuel efficiency. This is our software update over. Then we've got drive record, which I'm assuming this is your built-in sort of dash camera, which this one doesn't have. Again, this is in a guest mode, so they're not accessible yet, but you'll have that built-in Wi-Fi. You got your sound centered. You can do your balance and fade. You can move it around. Your equalizer in this case, radio, display for the camera. You got your general settings and so on. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, standard in this vehicle. But what's really cool is that the driving modes, you don't have to look for the button. You have it right here. You can select normal, eco, sport, or you can also do, custom, and you can configure the powertrain. You want it sport and so on. It doesn't have the weather information because, again, this is a pre-production unit. You can see it in here for Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and Bluetooth connectivity. You can customize the main menu, all these pages, so whatever you need in them to be. And then you got your tips. Easy to use. Even the built navigation doesn't work with this one. Bottom part, we've got the climate unit. You can control the front side. In terms of the seats, we have heated seats, auto, and ventilated seats. So the car will detect based on the temperature on the outside, will turn on the heated seats. And then we have a full steering wheel heated in this case with this package. You've got some options here for the flow of that, and we have the climate linked to your app. So you can download an app and essentially it turns on automatically. You can change the position of the seat temperature for like the left and right side. So quite a lot of information there, but everything is right here. Then under that, we have a few more buttons. So you can change your temperature from here. So instead of looking for the button, you can do it through from here. You've got a dual zone on both sides, and you can turn off the radio or turn on the radio with the button in the center. So there's still some buttons. And then moving on further down with this package, which is kind of shocking, we've got 2 wireless charging pads. So we got on the right side and on the left side with this package. This is the limited. And then in here you have your driving modes, easy access. There's also EV mode once the battery is charged. And then on this side you got your trail and you got your snow. So you've got a couple of modes, and normal mode, which is your fastest way to get into normal driving. Further down we have more space. So let's just say you don't want to charge your phone. What you can do is just slide it right in there. Done. Right? Beautiful. Look at this. So much space. You've got the buttons here. 45 watts charging. Amazing. I love this because I'm going to show you why I say that. We carry these batteries. I'm not promoting this, but we carry these batteries for our cameras. Guess what? The only way to charge this is by having that charging option. And the guys at Toyota were kind enough to give us this. And I love that because I don't want to carry a charger 45 watts to charge this. It's fully charged, so now I can use the battery. Love the little details in this car. In fact, I don't need this right now. Here we go. Now let's focus on to this area here. First up, we've got your gear knob. Again, this gear knob does not represent all the trims. It's slightly different than the other ones. In fact, you get a shift knob. Some people will question this. How easy it is to drive with this shift knob. It's perfect. Honestly, like, I've seen it in the BMW, I've seen it on other vehicles. All you do is drive. That's your brake for a hybrid. You go back into drive, you go into neutral, you go into reverse, and you go into park. Done. Brake hold, automatic handbrake. 2 cup holders in here with the option to give yourself more space by removing the centerpiece. Look how cool that is. And if we move further, I'm going to show you something even more cool. This is your armrest. It's a 2-way armrest. So you can open this way, or you can open this way, or wait for it. Check. My camera guy went like, wow. Yeah, look at that. Oh, and yep, you have your lunch. It's right there. Look at this. That's brilliant. I love little details like this. Check this out. Beautiful. And it's the easiest way. Wait, I went the other side. Actually, you can adjust this any way you want it. And look at that. We've got in here more USB-C ports. So we have 2 in the back, 1 here, that's 3, 2 in the front, that's 5 in total USB ports. And we've got the new key of the RAV4, although it kind of looks like the old one a little bit. It's been a while since I drove the old one, so this is the new key with a couple of options. And that's about it. That's the brochure. You put this inside. Let me make sure it's the one. And that's it. Perfect. Next thing, I want to talk about the seats. They're slightly different to the outgoing model, and in fact this one has a unique design, but you also get different trims, different seats, different leather interior. This one has got a little finish of suede in the center, sort of like a white silver match. I absolutely love the interior, but the way these things hug you. The driver does get lumbar support. The passenger only power seats in this case, heated, ventilated, the standard one. Beautiful leather, like look at this, the quality, everything, the beautiful stitching all around. Absolutely love that. Now, the next question is, how does this thing drive? Because it is a new generation. Well, guess what? That's what we're gonna do next. Let's go for a drive. Fifth generation Toyota hybrid system, a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder hybrid system. This time it makes 236 brake horsepower, which is more than the outgoing model. The one that we're driving today, it's the hybrid limited package, which means it's the top trim. There's also going to be, of course, a plug-in hybrid, which unfortunately we don't have access to it yet. Transmission, ECVT. It is a standard all-wheel drive for Canada. Maybe different markets might offer front-wheel drive, but for Canada, it is all-wheel drive. Towing capacity, 3,500 pounds with this package. The plug-in hybrid system, it's also a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder turbocharged engine. It makes 320 brake horsepower, which is 18 horsepower more than the outgoing model. It can do up to 80 kilometers on a single charge, and you can use a DC fast charging. It's an upgrade when it comes to the horsepower, because the previous model made about 219 and now we're up to 236. But not just that. Toyota says that they have revised the entire suspension system. We've got the control arms bushings now are a little bit stiffer, and you feel it in this car when you're driving. The better sound isolation is also, we also have better sound isolation on the inside. From the windows, the chassis, everything is different compared to the outgoing model. My first impressions driving this thing for a few hours today, for a full day, spending some time with the RAV4 built in Canada. And that is something to be proud of as a Canadian. Because it's built in Canada, Toyota tuned the interior for essentially our market. Insulation is better, materials are better, it feels tougher, and you can tell it's a real RAV4. The DNA is still there very much. It's quiet, it's practical, and still the perfect middle ground between compact and mid-size. Just big enough to do everything without being a parking lot nightmare. The interior as a driver feels great. We've got the screen in the center. I can see everything. It's also a lot easier now to control the infotainment, changing the layouts, but doing just a switch. You don't have to hold reset, press, or any of that. The driving modes are right here in front of me. I can switch them right away without even touching the buttons for the driving modes. I can put it to sports, I put it in normal mode. Let's test out the driver assistant package. We're gonna turn it on with the button right here. Set the speeds. It should do lane assist as well, keeping you within the lanes. Turning on the lane assist, and look at this. Automatically steers for you. You still have to keep your hands on the wheel, required by law, but the vehicle is doing most of the work, making sure it keeps you within the lane so that you're not bouncing left and right, adjusting the steering. Does a great job. For the first time ever also, the Toyota RAV4 comes with a heads-up display. The one that we have for today's video, unfortunately, does not come with heads-up display. Fuel efficiency. Well, it is an improvement to the outgoing model. Currently, the base LE gets about 5.4 liters per 100 kilometers. That's the average. And then you've got the XLE, XSC, and the Limited that we have for today's video, looking about 5.6 liters per 100 kilometers. The Woodland, of course, with those tires does not, the Woodland, of course, with the off-road tires does not get the best fuel efficiency, about 6 liters per 100 kilometers, which is a few bumps up compared to the standards Limited that we have for today's video. The tire setup is different. Right now, we've been driving about 2 hours. I was with another person doing the speed limit. This one is showing about 6.5 liters per 100 kilometers, taking into consideration there's 2 people inside. It is a windy day, but that is damn impressive. Now, what is like actually driving this? So let's talk about that portion. I'm gonna put it in normal mode. The first thing you notice, this car doesn't have any body roll because the suspension, it is tuned to be a lot better than the previous model, a bit stiffer, but not annoying stiff where it becomes very uncomfortable. In fact, it's quite enjoyable, and that's the shocking part about this, is that the suspension has been upgraded, stiffer bushings, but somehow the vehicle feels very comfortable. When you put it in sport mode, the steering wheel gets a little bit stiffer and a bit more direct. There's a little bit of a gap as you're turning the wheel before the wheels turn. There's a tiny little gap when you're steering the vehicle a little bit, but that's standard. This is not a sports car. The steering feels just as direct, but the suspension is what shocks me. Like, if you do this, the vehicle does not feel like it's gonna flip or it has a body roll. In fact, it feels very planted. It also has great weight distribution. We've got the engine in the front and the battery in the back. So the vehicle feels very planted on the ground. In terms of visibility as a driver, tons of room. Even the rear window has a lot of space. It feels sturdy on the road. It actually, I think it's a huge upgrade to the previous generation, yet being still a RAV4. When it comes to the price, we haven't gotten anything yet. They haven't told us anything. So right now, there's no speculation. I couldn't tell you what the price is going to be in the US or Canada. They haven't released anything. Today's video is about getting to know the RAV4, driving it for the first time here in Ontario, Canada, in Woodstock, where the Toyota RAV4 is built. The RAV4 Prime is built in Japan, it's not built here. We did talk to the engineers, the people from Toyota Canada, whether they can build the RAV4 Prime in here, and they said they have the technology. It's just a matter of logistics and, of course, politics at the moment. So the only one that's being built in Canada, it's the hybrid models, the current generation, 6th generation Toyota RAV4. What is like driving this vehicle after driving it for the day? It's still very much a RAV4. You will not be disappointed. It's still the same RAV4, just better in terms of driving dynamics, in terms of space, comfort. Someone as me as a driver, I feel comfortable inside. There's quite a lot of space in here. The sitting position, something to keep in mind, you're sitting a little bit higher than the standard vehicle because it is an SUV, so the structure for the seat itself, the position, it's slightly higher compared to other vehicles. Overall, it's a sturdy machine. It's a RAV4. You're gonna love driving this thing very much like you did, or even more than you did the previous generation.